Hello, beautiful souls and beautiful humans. How are you doing? Are you feeling like a mess? Would you like to feel wired for success and therefore claim your brilliance and your self-mastery? If that is a hell yes, amen, sister, then you are in the right place. I am Rosanna Rosie Glow Hannis, and I'm here for those of you who are ready to embrace your brilliance, who are ready to remember your self-mastery, who are ready to be heart-led and soul-inspired. And this is what this is all about. Okay, it's actually the simplest thing in the world, but even though it's simple, it doesn't mean it's easy to implement. So question is, why do we feel like a mess? Well, because we're all wired to survive rather than thrive. In order for us to feel wired for success, we need to learn, we need to teach our bodies to be wired to thrive. And that means moving from being adrenaline dominant to oxytocin dominant. Now, this is relevant to everybody who is here in this world right now, seeking one, to improve our own lives, two, to help make the world a better place in positions of leadership, authority, power, influence. Those of us who are the trailblazers, the way showers, the creators of the new world. If this is resonating with you, remember you're in the right place. And for many of us, behind closed doors, we feel like we're epic failures. We're constantly striving to improve ourselves because we don't feel worthy. We don't feel good enough. We don't feel like whatever we do, it's enough. And this is all dodgy programming and wiring. And the beautiful thing is, it can be addressed, it can be overcome. And this is exactly the work that I do with my beautiful clients. So if it's something that is of interest to you, please do remember to check out the text box where you will find a link to be able to book a call, to have a chat with me if you are serious and committed about making a decision to shift from surviving to thriving, because there is a process involved. Yes, it starts with a decision. And that decision, as I said, is to move out of the sympathetic nervous system response as your primary way of being in this world, your primary way of operating, and to move into the oxytocin dominant response, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, let's give you some real practical stuff. What does this actually mean? First of all, it means lengthening your out breath. Secondly, it means shaking your body whenever you find you're stressed, you're disturbed, you feel anxious, you feel depressed. Okay, thirdly, it means lifting your chest, opening your heart, starting to look at what is going well in your world rather than what isn't. You know, if you know that you're highly strung, if you're sensitive to this world, if you find that actually the pain of others really affects you deeply, I so am with you. My heart is with you. I'm an emotional and a soul empath myself. And, you know, it can feel really, really difficult to live in this world and not take on the struggle, the suffering, all that exists around us. Because if we have receptor cells, if we've been through suffering ourselves, which we all have on some level, then, you know, if we don't know quite how to manage our pain and move through pain, whether it's emotional, psychological, spiritual, or physical, then we will tend to resist pain and try and avoid it on all levels. We're all wired to do that on some level. So there has to be a reason to move through pain rather than to avoid it. And the beautiful thing is this: everything that you want, everything that you desire that you currently don't have, is on the other side of this birth canal. And this birth canal requires you to learn to move through pain rather than to avoid it. So having the tools, the skills to be able to do that, so that you don't fear resistance when it comes up. You learn that fear means go, not no. And you learn to lean into the discomfort, into the unfamiliar, into the places that scare you, rather than contracting and resisting and hiding away. This is where the magic happens. Okay. So I wanted just to let you know about a couple of videos that you might want to check out here on my channel. One of them is the wonderful Meaghan Young. It's an interview that I did with her, which is all about our neurodiversity. It's all about claiming our brilliance. Let me actually find it for you, because it's so good that I need to give you the title, and I will do my best to put it at the end as well. So essentially, if you want to check this out, Meaghan is an amazing woman herself. She has created something called the Institute of Neurobrilliance, and she talks specifically about neurodivergence and women in positions of leadership, women in positions of power, but also all women, all of us who are here to help to create new systems that work for everyone, not just the few. And that's what this interview is about. It's called Rewiring Our Concept of Success. So if you are feeling like a mess right now and you want to embrace this idea that actually you are totally capable and viable as a successful being in this world, then check that interview out. And the other thing is, if you want a quick boost to your energy and you want to tap into your brilliance and your self-mastery, the most recent world service I did is called Owning Your Brilliance. Okay, I'm owning my brilliance. And this is a world service, light language transmission and personal healing. Again, I'll put the link in the text box for you. I always talk for a bit before we actually go into the co-creation meditation, but the co-creation meditation is an alchemical process. Okay, it will take you from one feeling state into another, and it will allow you to tap into the frequency codes of success, of self-mastery, of your own brilliance, so that you can muster that courage, that confidence, to trust that even though change can seem scary and we fear what we don't know, we like to stick in our comfort zones, even though they're not really comfortable, they're just familiar. There is everything you want on the other side of, as I said, this birth canal, and learning to move through it is so important. So some of the things that I just wanted to say in this video are that we're living in a world where we're constantly judging things as good or bad. And one of the most useful tips I can offer you for being able to shift from that kind of duality mindset into oneness is to look at everything you see as a negative in your life, as an impediment, as something that's holding you back, as something you think you're bad at, or something that you feel is, limiting you in some way. And ask the question, what good can come from this? How is this actually possibly a gift rather than a curse in my life? And you ask that question, go about your day, right? And then see what actually comes back to you. Because the first thing that I teach when I work with people is to put their soul in control. And this might seem like a new concept to you. It might be something you're aware of. But when we talk about higher self-consciousness, when we talk about the superconscious, when we talk about putting the soul in control, we're talking about putting the eternal nature of our consciousness in the driving seat of our vehicle of life. Now, most of us, when we get asked a question, will start to think and try and find an answer in the brain, which relates to the mind. And that's all well and good, but that is actually not going to give you the solution you want, because the brain is a computer that bases the future on things that have happened in the past. And yes, it can tap into the collective field of consciousness that we're all a part of, but depending on your vibrational frequency will only allow you to access possibilities that are in resonance to that vibrational frequency. So for example, if you believe that you're rubbish, if you believe you've got low self-esteem, that you're no good at anything, that actually everything you do fails, then you will be open to other experiences, but they'll only ever bring you back to the beliefs that you have and the decisions that you've made, because that's what you're a vibrational resonance for. If you choose to move from I can't to how can I, and open to the possibility of things being able to be different to what you know, then you'll start to entertain ideas. You'll start to see things in the world that are different to your vibrational match. Will you be able to access them? Well, this is going to depend on your intention and your vibration. Because if you decide you are fed up of being where you are, you're fed up of feeling stuck, fed up of feeling like nothing's working in your life, that you are really, truly ready to make a commitment to do whatever it takes to shift from where you are to where you want to be, then the solutions will start to come in your field. Okay, the opportunities will start to come. That doesn't mean you jump at the first thing that comes your way. Discernment is key, right? And typically, whenever we find something for us that's going to help us get out of the funk that we're in, we're going to be excited about it, but we'll also be fearful about it. The two coexist. And our heart will be saying yes, but our brain power, our mind, will be giving us all the reasons not to, because the brain wants to keep you in what you know. All right. So there is an infinite field of possibilities available to all of us to tap into. But in order for our experience of reality to change, we have to shift our vibration so we can access other possibilities, and not just access them, but then be able to maintain them. And that's exactly why I run the programs that I do, because I know that the only thing that really grows fast in this world are weeds, right? So when you actually want to change something, yes, you can have an instant epiphany, an instant shift. But if you want to maintain that shift in your life, then you're going to need to get all aspects of your being, your subconscious and your conscious mind, to align with your superconscious, which is your soul self. When you put your soul in control, my friends, we move from the brain and the mind into the body. We need to create safety in the body so we can relax the body, so we can feel safe in our bodies. And most of us who are stuck in the mind do not feel safe in the body. There's usually some kind of trauma that's happened in early life, or maybe in the womb. Could be birth trauma, could be sexual trauma, could be an accident that occurred. There's all sorts of reasons why we disassociate from our body. But in order to be soul-led, instead of led by our ego programming, our limiting conditioning, we need to make a journey firstly from the thinking part of us into our physical bodies and create safety here, which is why I started with shake your body, breathe out, lengthen your out breath, learn to calm your nervous system. And through creating safety in the body, then you can start to access your heart and the different feeling vibrations, which are different to what you know. Okay, so from mess to success. What does success feel like? As I ask you that question, do you know what success feels like? Now you can come into your heart and go, right, it's a feeling vibration. What does success feel like? When was the last time I felt successful? Then you'll engage your brain to say, okay, remind me of a time when I felt successful. Okay, now you bring that feeling into your present moment and you resonate. Oh, that's the feeling of success. That feels good to me. Now, maybe you've never felt successful. Maybe you feel like you're constantly failing. Maybe the moment you feel success, you expect something terrible is going to happen. So who do you know? Who do you see in the world around you that you feel is a vibration of success? Who do you resonate with? Who would you like to feel more like? When you look at them, you think, yeah, I want some of that. Then you can model, you can connect through the power of your imagination to their frequency. So I made another video, which I'm going to publish on here, which is actually about the current energies, so the solstice energies, and also how we're co-creating the new earth paradigm. So that will be published shortly here. And I talk a bit more about how we use the imagination and how we use the brain and the mind to work for us. But for now, what I really want to impart is that we're not talking about separating parts of us off. We need to integrate all aspects of our being and allow the wisest, most eternal, most accomplished aspect of our being to lead the way, so that we shift from being wired to survive to being wired to survive, to thrive. Now, on a very practical level, if you don't know this already, I do teach online multidimensional yoga twice a week. This is UK time, so British Standard Time currently, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, and Thursday afternoon or early evening, 6:30 p.m. Now, if you know you're someone who's in your head and you just want to have a sense of what it's like to actually create safety in the body, then please do join the yoga. I'll put the link for you in the text box. You can try a trial class. And you can actually join monthly. And when you join monthly, you receive a whole library of replays. So even if you can't make the sessions live, you can actually join and catch the replays. And that's 8 sessions a month. So it's a very, very accessible membership for those of you who'd like to progress your journey from being in your head, from feeling like a mess, to creating the foundation and also the vehicle for success, to create the structure, the physical container for it. Because we use the brain, but we let the brain entrain to the heart rather than the heart entrain to the brain. So there's just some rewiring, detoxing, rewiring that's required. And the first step is the yoga. For those of you who are serious and committed to wanting to take a really deep dive and actually shift entirely your programming, then yoga is a part of it because it's the physical element. But it's really breath, sound, movement, intention, vibrational alignment, reality crafting, reverse engineering. There's a whole heap of different tools that are required to be able to create the structures for you to be the version of you want to be, and to deconstruct the version of you that you are by default. It's not who you really are, it's who you've been conditioned to be since you incarnated into the bloodline families that you came to in this life. So much of this wiring that we're talking about, wiring to survive rather than thrive, actually starts in the womb. It can even start before the womb. All right. So preconception. Now, my areas of expertise are, I am, a senior yoga teacher. So I train yoga teachers. I have been a birth educator, fertility expert for many years. By that, I mean that I've worked with thousands of women and their partners to bring babies into this world and then to nurture those babies and help those babies and the mother and the father heal from trauma that has occurred. And I've learned that the time in the womb is basically when our brain and our physiology is either wired to be adrenaline or oxytocin dominant. Now, that's all well and good, but it doesn't mean that you are basically stuffed for life. It means that if you would like to be programmed to thrive rather than survive, there is a process to go through. And that's what I teach people to go through in my coaching work. As I said, foundational is the physical, the yoga that I teach, because it's very specific to creating that safety in the body. And trust me, I've spent 22 years as a yoga teacher plus. Although my classes might seem very simple in terms of the fact that it's not about the most advanced headstand, handstand, arm balance, which I've done plenty of in my time. It's about deconstructing all of that and actually coming to the simplicity of a practice that allows you to connect to your earth chakra, soul chakra, and also your light body. And that's why I have many yoga teachers coming to me on repeat, because although you can, if you like, do more advanced physical postures, accessing your divine architecture, as I call it in this way, and learning to manifest like a badass, which is to get your physical vibration to be a match for your intention. That's what all of this is about. So, if you're getting to know me and you want to know more, it's a great place to start. If you're like, this woman's talking sense and I want some of this, then the next logical step, if you are done with surviving and want to thrive and really experience that across all areas of your life, experience a sense of a personal paradise, a fulfillment of your personal dreams over your the constant repeating of a Groundhog Day that you're just done with, that you actually would like to take the red pill instead of the blue pill, but you want some help in the awakening process so that you don't do your own head in and blow a gasket, then all of this is really about taking a deeper dive, which starts with a desire mapping call, which is a complimentary call that you can have with me. There are options for paid calls as well, including starseed activation calls and also divine desire, moving through deep healing and seeing where your soul destiny is taking you presently. And I'll put those links up as soon as I've got them, because they're hot off the press. But really what I do is I connect with people to see whether they're ready for one of my group coaching programs or they're interested in working with me one-to-one, and whether we're a match, because my frequency is to work with the few that actually influence the many. And there are lots of levels I work with people on, but essentially I show up when you are ready to be soul inspired, heart led, when you are ready to co-create your reality from your higher self consciousness rather than from your conditioning, your ego programming. And it's really important to remember that the way that the world is shifting, the new world that we're creating, is happening through a shift in our own personal vibration first. So if you already consider yourself to be successful in certain areas, but feeling like you're failing in others, then let's talk, because this is a big element for me, is supporting people to actually clear the block where there is a lack of flow, when they've clearly got other areas of their life working really, really well. And many of us are overcompensating in this world by being outwardly very successful because we feel an inner lack. And, it might look like our world is fabulous on the outside, but inside we may be having real conflicted relationships at home, unhappiness in marriages, in relationship with the self, with our children. This is all the kind of thing that I cover, because it all starts with you. When your vibration shifts and you know how to deal with the things that till now you haven't known how to deal with, everything changes. It's a game changer. Anyway, I could keep going, but I'm going to leave it here. I'm just going to remind you, please check out Meaghan Young's interview. And that interview is Rewiring Our Concept of Success. I believe that's what I called it. Apologies. I'm going to just check it again for you. Rewiring Our Concept of Success. Yes. And introducing what did I call it? Neuro-brilliance with the lovely Meaghan Young. That's it. And also, if you want to have a taste of your own brilliance, check out the full moon replay. Loads and loads of love. Remember to take action. That's how we shift from where we are to where we want to be. And more to come very soon. Take care for now.